Hey guys, it's Morgan coming back to you from Highland Cycles with another weekly Shlog. This is our little YouTube channel here in Western Colorado where we show you all kinds of cool dirt bike stuff. We got Zach over there, the man of many words. He is back. He was back last week. He's still back, which is cool. He hasn't left, even though we give him a really hard time. Yeah, we show you all kinds of cool dirt bike stuff. Tips and tricks, diagnosis, all kinds of stuff. And if you guys got here from a race video, a ride video, a review video, whatever, we also do that stuff. But this is our weekly thing where we try to publish this every Monday or Tuesday and show you kind of what goes on in a small independent dirt bike shop in Western Colorado. So if that sounds like fun, you want to stick with us, join us. Here we go. All right, guys, so first on the lift is this Honda 2006 Honda CRF 450R. But real quick, I need to take care of a little bit of business. I'm really happy and proud to announce that I've been picked up by the website called knowitals.com. I'm going to go deeper into that in a future video. But basically, it's a platform for people to set up face-to-face, one-on-one talks with people who are experts in their field. They picked me up as a dirt bike guy, and I'm really excited. We got our page already set up. If you check the link in the description below, it's knowitals.com/p/Highland Cycles or something. Anyway, it's in the description below. Guys, I've been getting so busy. The channel's been growing so much. All of our socials have been growing so much. It's becoming unsustainable for me to answer the phone all the time, answer emails all the time, answer DMs all the time. Super sorry about that, but I'm just not going to be able to do it because I still have a job. I still have to fix motorcycles, still have kids, a wife, goats, cows, anyway, all kinds of stuff in my life. So I have set up availability on knowitals.com. You can schedule a time to meet face-to-face via the internet, unless you want to come here. If you walk in this door, I will always make time for you. But if you're calling, emailing, all that, I may or may not get back to you. I'll try if I can, but it's really hard. So if you want to guarantee a way to get a hold of me and talk to me face-to-face, use that link. Guys, I do make money, so, full transparency. I will be making money. It's not free, but I think it's reasonable, and it's a way for me to filter some stuff down so that I still have time to live the rest of my life. So anyway, all that being said, let's get to it. This CRF is not running very well. They want me to check valves, check carburetor, all that good stuff. It's super clean, which is nice. It's nice having a bike this shiny and clean come in here. So we're going to start by taking seat, tank off, exhaust off, and then we're going to flip the thing up. We're going to get the carburetor off. Then we'll take a look at the valves. We'll check all that good stuff. Check jetting, all that stuff, and see if we can't make this thing run better. It basically says it just doesn't have good throttle response, which is indicative of a problem with the pilot circuit usually on these things. They get clogged up, or they're a little too small, they're too lean. You got to ease on the throttle to get the thing to rev. If you crack it too fast, it's no good. It can also be accelerator pump, other things like that. But yeah, they want us to go through it, putting some grips on it too. So anyway, let's get after it. What's that? Oh yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. All right, guys. So we got the top off of this thing. I got the carburetor off. It's over in the bench. We'll take a look at that here in a second. But old school valve train from Honda. I've already checked the intakes. They're good. They have about 5 thousandths. Actually, they're right on the money. The exhausts are just over 6, so everything's good there. So that's good. And the top end looks like really fresh and clean. So as far as the valve train, I don't know what the piston looks like, but the valve train looks really, really good. So my guess is it's going to be a carburetor situation. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that good chance we're dealing with a mid-body gasket issue because it's an 06, it's an old bike, and the mid-bodies are one of those parts that always get looked over when people are rebuilding carburetors. So, yeah, let's take this thing apart. And we're gonna check the jetting and make sure we're not dealing with like, you know, just a way off jet. Jetting might be okay, but the mid body is probably leaking, because if it's the other problem these have, and I don't mean Hondas, I mean FCR carburetors, is that they can have when the mid body leaks, they can leak air, which makes it lean, which makes it have a hesitation down low. So it looks all clean, which is nice. It's a 45 Pilot, which should be about right. I'll check that. I think that's should be close. All right, guys, I cannot get the Allen in there, so it's not wanting to do it, so I'm going to break out some cool little pliers I got. See, they've got the little kind of funky opening on the end. Should be able to hopefully grab a hold. Allen into those holes, so use these cool little snap-on mini teeny weeny channel locks. They've got really good teeth on them. You can just basically grab a hold of it, even though it's that kind of dome thing, and they'll spin. There we go. Let's see how gnarly that looks. That is classic mid-body gasket situation for an older bike. Everything else looks perfect. You can see there's grime and stuff there, so not a surprise. All right, now we got to clean that up. We got to get these two little screws out so we can get, there's a gasket underneath here too. But this right here is usually the problem, because that's our pilot circuit, and it is disgusting. All right, we got it all washed off, chalked up in the vise. Now let's get some heat on those. There we go. And you can see that one is just as gross as the other. So now I'm gonna do a whole bunch of cleaning, ultrasonic, all sorts of things, get these all cleaned up, passageways all super clean, and then we'll put a new mid-body back in it, and I bet this thing fires up and runs great. All right, guys, got everything clean. We're going to use an All Balls mid-body kit. I don't love everything that All Balls makes, but I actually do really like these kits. That are super good. Never had a problem with them. And it's interesting, all these companies, they make so many different things, and some are good, some are bad, all that, but like, you got to kind of, well, watch our channel. Subscribe to the channel, and you'll see I try to do reviews on all this kind of stuff, and like, I would not use their wheel bearings or some of their other stuff because they just wear out too fast, but these things work great. So we're going to put this hoop thing on first. I like to just get a little bit of grease on my hand and get just enough grease on the O-ring to make it a little bit tacky. Okay, guys, we got it all back together. Ended up putting a spark plug in it. The spark plug was super fouled. Here we go. Kind of dry fouled, which is normal for a 4-stroke, but you can see that. Anyway, it was no good. So, got a new one in there. Air filter looked good. Everything else seems good. Got new grips on it for him. Got the throttle working. Man, that was super sticky, but it's good now. And yeah, let's see how she runs. Well, I don't know. It's interesting. Gonna have to dig deeper. I got it running before I decided, film this little part, and it ran fine. Not sure what's going on. Hopefully it didn't foul another plug. If it did, then we got some other weirdness going on. So, yeah, well, stick with me. Here we go. All right, so the next thing on the lift is this WR450. I showed it to you in last week's Shlog, or the Shlog, I don't know, I said I was going to talk more about it. I didn't film a whole bunch on it because I just rebuilt the carburetor. It was another mid-body gasket. I've shown that a whole bunch of times. But the mid-body gasket was no good. Also, it had all the AIS stuff, air injection system on it. So we blocked all that off, did a super simple version of that. I didn't buy the kit or anything like that. I just put a bolt in here. It's got some Yamaha bond sealing that up to make sure it's good. Also a zip tie to hold that tight. Got a bolt into the intake part. I also got a bolt into the air box where it pulled air to dump. Anyway, that's running way better. Nice and, no backfires. It runs great. Good throttle response, all that. The bike showed up. It's interesting. Again, forgot to show this, but it didn't have any air filter in it or cage. Turns out that they actually knew that. They had pulled that out. It was, they just forgot to install it. Like, they never ran it like that. They pulled it out to get a new one. Never ran it like that. Motor's fine. Runs really good. Now we're doing forks. I don't know if I've ever done a fork seal video on this style forks. So I'm going to shoot a separate in-depth video about these forks because this is the old style open chamber KYBs, and they're actually really, really great forks for off-road stuff, especially if you're not pushing really hard. So yeah, we're going to do that. I'll bring you guys in for the highlights. Zach's over there finally reinstalling all the parts of a Husky 350. Is that 350? Yeah, 350. Did a crank and everything. It's actually interesting situation. Guy was riding the bike, and then while he was riding it, it just started vibrating more than normal. And he was like, oh boy. So he got back, brought it in. Actually, we dug into it. It really couldn't find anything wrong, like nothing in the oil, nothing like that. But I was like, dude, it's got to be the crank, counterbalancer, all the bearings that we could check on the outside were fine. So we pulled it apart. Crank had a little bit too much play in it, so we sent that off to Crankworks. Did a great job. That's all going back together. Sorry that this has taken a couple weeks to get this out. This is the start of this was last week. Now we're finishing up this week because I had yet another race in Farmington, and yeah, it's craziness. Did really well. Happy about that. Ended up third, 40A. After not a great start and really kind of crappy first two laps. My hands went south, arms pumped up, all that stuff. Settled down though, rode really well, even though I'm still super beat up from the Moab hard enduro. So happy about that. The training is going well. Guys, if you want a great physical trainer, Don Funk is the man. Yeah, he's doing a great job with me. Obviously it takes work on my part, but he's got a great program. It's working really well. So, yeah, let's get these forks off. All right, now it's spinning, but you'll notice this cartridge doesn't want to come out. So what you're going to do is you take your hand, you're going to pull over here, cock it to the side like that, just a little bit. There we go. All right, that's way better. We're all good to go. Now we're gonna take our seal bullet, put it on there. We're using SKF heavy duty seals. And you always start with the dust seal. Then the circlip. This style circlip you could actually put on very last if you wanted, but I wouldn't put it on. Then the oil seal. You want to put this side up or towards the oil, this side towards the atmosphere. I'm going to take our washer. Now, and it takes a little bit before you start to get oil into the cartridge, but eventually you do. You'll start feeling resistance. The oil level will go way down. And you just want to pump it up and down until it moves up and down nice and smoothly with no ticks or quick movements or anything like that. Now, it's not the end of the world if you don't get that bled perfectly, because it will bleed over time. But you want to get it bled pretty well so that you get the oil level right. So we're going to not top it off, but... All right, we got the WR all done. Super happy with how it turned out, actually. Everything's working good. Forks are nice and clean and happy and shiny. Seals are good. And it does this now. Stoked about that. Also, put a light switch on it. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but put a light switch so you can turn that off and on. Someone deleted the one that was on there and couldn't find any of the hookups, so it's pretty cool because, check this out, it should be good. So it's on, bike's running, off, turns off. So you can't kill the battery with the light, which is awesome. Some of these bikes, they're set up where you can just leave the light on, battery goes dead, bummed out. So bike's ready to rock and roll. Next up is this YZ250 over here that we rebuilt the motor on, but it's shifting. It's got a weird shift issue. We did a crank and everything. Richie did that a few weeks ago. And bike runs good, but it wants to fall out of fifth if you don't really positively get it in there. Anyway, stay tuned here. The next thing you're going to see is me showing you what I think is going on. I don't think it's in between the cases. It's going to be interesting. All right, as promised, here's the inside of this YZ250 that we just rebuilt. Running great. There was nothing really wrong with the transmission. We checked it. Everything seemed to shift really good on the bench. Richie, who built it, rode it up and down the road, wide open in fifth. We had actually our buddy Michael ride it, who works here. Ran great, shifted great. But something's not going right, and not exactly sure what it is yet. We're going to dive in, but I have a feeling it has something to do with the mechanism here, because you can shift it. It goes through all the gears and it stays in fifth if you're really deliberate with it. But I think there's something on this shifting mechanism that's causing problems. So I'm going to pull this sucker out. Always careful. There's almost always a washer there. Make sure you don't lose that. I'll dump this over here in our grip mat. A quick ad, guys. These things are so sweet. I get these from the Toolbox widget guys. Their link is in the description, guys. Highly recommend. Also, the Toolbox widgets, the actual widgets that go in the toolbox, are been honestly transformative. It's made my life so much easier. All right, so now let's pull these two bolts and let's take this whole mechanism out. I have a feeling we got something worn in here that is making it not grab all the way and rotate it. So let's get a 10. Well, that'll all change here. Yeah, it won't be long. Yeah, I was gonna say it'll get nutty. I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to either, but. All right, we got this all apart, and I think I have found out the problem. So if we look at these little detents here, it's going to be really hard for you guys to see, but they've got some kind of funky wear in them. Not bad, but then also if you look in here, right down in the middle, you can see some wear there. That's not normal. That shouldn't be there. Not sure exactly what was going on there. But then, if we look at these pieces, these are actually the little, I'll call them pawls that come out and grab. They have some funky wear on them too. And I think this one's okay. This is actually the one that provided downshifting. This is the upshifting one, and it's got, like I said, it's really hard to see on the camera, guys, but it's got some wear. And I think what's going on is that, and this has got some wear too. That's also interesting. none of it looks perfect. So I think that all this together, just enough slop that when it went to go to fifth, which is a big jump, from fourth to fifth is actually a really big jump inside the transmission. It's got to move one shift fork a really long way. I wish I had a transmission out here I could show you, but guys, and I fought this on one of my bikes, one of my old YZs. It had a different problem because its transmission had blown up when I got the bike, and I rebuilt it, and it ended up being a different situation. And I found that the fourth to fifth was the biggest move of a shift fork, and that was causing a problem. So I think that with all the little bit of wear and all a little bit of deformation, things like that, and then that big jump from fourth to fifth, that's what our problem is. So we're going to order these parts, everything we need, and yeah, we'll get this all back together. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel because I will be showing and talking about this, and hopefully it's all fixed and all that, but it won't be this week on the Shlog. So, so yeah, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff, all that YouTube-y stuff, and yeah, we're going to get all this coming, and we'll get her fixed, and we'll get on to the next job. All right, next on the lift is this Beta 200 RR. I think this is an RR, yeah. And it's in here because it's hard starting, and blow out some pipe dents, and let's see what else we got. Clean and oil the air filter. So I won't do this again because I quickly did it before I fired the camera up. I pulled the choke, hit the start button, and this thing about ran away. And if you guys are here right now, you can smell this gas. It's disgusting. So generally what that means is that something's plugged up in the carburetor. When you pull the choke, it runs lean, and just rap like a two-stroke will do when it gets lean. So we're going to pull this carburetor off and clean it because I bet it's gummed up and nasty. And part of the reason probably is this is oil injected, and gas with oil in it, two-stroke premix gas, lasts a lot longer than gas that does not have premix in it, or two-stroke oil in it. So it probably hasn't been sitting too terribly long, but since it doesn't have oil in the gas, it's gone bad. So yeah, let's pop this carburetor off and see what we find. All right, we got the carburetor off. It's disgusting. We're going to put this thing in ultrasonic, but my guess is the pilot jet is clogged. So let's pop that sucker out of there. It's a 45, so it's plenty big size. But when I blow air through it like that, there is no light. So that's super clogged. We'll get that cleaned out. I'm going to put this in the ultrasonic, get it all shined back up, put it back on, and I bet this thing starts and runs great. All right, got everything done. Got the pipe blown out, carb all cleaned up, blew that pilot jet out. It definitely made a big difference. Let's see. Pull the choke. Ah, that's better. Choke off, idling already. I like it. But guys, that is a real clear indicator that you got a circuit clogged up. If when you choke it and you hit the start button and it just starts to run away, because it's too lean, but there's just enough gas coming from the choke to let it just go nuts. So I like it. Sounds good. Last thing I got to do is take care of the air filter and we'll get on to the next job. All right, next on the lift is this 1998 CR250. If you guys know much about CR250s, this is 1 year after the one that McGrath left Honda because of. 96 was the last year of the steel framed that Jeremy won Supercross championship on, and then they made him ride the new aluminum frame, and you can see how giant that frame is, like how thick it is. They made these things way too stiff. Really ill handling on supercross tracks and things like that. Now they're still, they're still really good bikes as far as the motor, all that. They work just fine, and they're a fine trail bike, but man, they are rigid for sure. This one has a leaky carburetor, supposedly. We're doing moose balls in the front, and then a full service to check it out, make sure it's good for the season. So let's start digging into it. All right, guys, we got the carburetor off here. An interesting turn of events. There was no pin for the float to pivot on. I took it apart. I looked and everything. I didn't drop it on the ground. It's weird because, you know, why would that? But that makes sense to why the carb was leaking. So, yeah, I got to find a float pin, which honestly is harder than you might think because they don't just float around in, they don't come in the rebuild kits or any of that stuff. So got to find that thing, but we're going to go put this thing in the ultrasonic, get it all nice and super clean. Hopefully hunt down a float pin here and get this thing back together, see if we can't make it run right. All right, guys, so there's been a lot going on. I haven't filmed all of it. Guys, I really wish I could film everything that happens here, but it's just too much work. Maybe in the future, if we grow this channel big enough and we make enough money doing this, I can hire a cameraman that can just like film us. We'll do like a reality TV show, but actual real, not scripted. So make sure you share this channel with people if you want to see that, if you actually really want to see what every day looks like in here, because I think it's honestly pretty interesting, but I'm biased. Just got done with a set of forks that were done last May, which is dangerously close to being a year ago, and they were complaining about the seals leaking. And when I took them apart, they're disgusting. Let me show you actually real fast. These are the old seals. You can see the dirt, and anyway, they were disgusting. So, surprise, surprise, they leaked. Anyway, we got this 05 RM125 up here, and the customer complaint is that it's hard to start. It was rebuilt last year. I don't know who rebuilt it. I don't know if they did it or somebody else did it, but it says it has a big bore in it. Try a different carburetor. That didn't fix it. But I have my suspicions already because this doesn't take much. So, I'm going to take the seat and tank off, get a compression tester on there. I'm going to check compression. My guess is it's low. I don't know why. Could be that the big bore was done incorrectly. Could be it was done okay, but then it got fired up and ran wide open for a bit and scratched the cylinder. Lots of reasons. So he just wants me to report back. So we're going to check compression, and I'll let you know what that is. And this could be the problem. Another bone dry air filter. Let's see what we got here, guys. Yep. There's definitely dirt behind there. So, yeah, there you go. So, you can't see it, but there's lots of dirt. Anyway, it's dirty, so that's probably the problem. Go ahead and check compression for the guy so I can give him a number, let him know. Yeah. Air filters, people. I should change the name of this channel to air filters. All right, so test compression. Sorry I didn't show you me testing the compression. It's pretty simple. You screw the compression tester in there, you hold the throttle wide open, and you kick it like you mean it. And the max I got was just over 75, so that's not enough. The other thing I found is that the motor mount is like that. So that's awesome. I haven't yet talked to this guy. Personally, Leander took the bike in when he dropped it off, so I'm going to give him a call. But he's saying that there's a big bore kit in it, and it was just rebuilt and all that stuff. But as I look at it, the cylinder is definitely stock. That doesn't mean that there's not been bored out. That doesn't mean that. But it definitely makes me wonder whether or not it was actually done. This has got all the indications of a bike that was sold to someone, and they said that it had been rebuilt, and they said that it was a big bore, and they said all these things. I sold the bike, and the guy got taken. I don't know if that's the case. I cannot say for sure if that's the case, but it sure seems like it right now to me, looking at it, and from what the guy said. Guys, make sure you go to highland-cycles.com. I have a used motorcycle buyer's guide that I think actually is pretty darn good. Make sure you go there. It's in the free ebooks section. Check it out. I think it's still there. I'm pretty sure it's still there. And yeah, I think you'll see, I don't know, pretty good information if you're buying a used bike. You just got to be careful, guys, or make sure you have all the money to rebuild the thing no matter what. And if you don't have to, you just get lucky. So, yeah, I'm going to call this guy, tell him what's going on, how much it's going to cost probably, and all that good stuff, and see if he wants to go forward. All right, it is the end of the week, the end of the Shlog, guys. We are crazy busy. We have so much to do. Make sure you stick around, stay tuned, subscribe, tell your friends about this channel. I'm trying to get this thing to 100,000 subscribers. We got a long ways to go. We're not quite to 30,000 yet, but I know we can do it with your help. I know we can do it. So make sure you share this channel if you're really enjoying it. Guys, quick plug for members, quick plug for membership. Again, I'm trying to grow this channel. I'm trying to do new cool stuff. That all costs money. So I'm trying to get you guys to join as members if you want, if it makes sense. Still going to be free content all the time, but members do get to watch videos early. In fact, right now they're getting to watch our Thursday night ride video for a full 2 days before it comes out to the rest of you guys. And then also there are exclusive member videos. There's only one right now, but there will be more coming soon. And a member's ride every year. So we haven't decided where that's going to be or when yet, but it is coming. So if that's interesting, go ahead and consider signing up as a member. If not, no worries. We're going to keep pumping out free content for you guys. I love you guys so much. We will see you on the next one.